speed management. Speed management. Okay. So when you talk about speed management, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? You talk about speed management. What first comes in your mind? Timothy, what comes in your mind?
How a driver should be able to manage the movement of the speed of the vehicle.
Okay. Yes, good idea. So speed management, speed management. You see, it becomes a driver's decision. It's the decision of a driver. The decision of a driver or his ability to make a responsible or irresponsible decision when he's on the road of what speed he should be using on a particular road, depending on the condition of the road, depending on weather and other factors. Okay, so it is the ability of the driver to act responsibly when he's on the road in regards to speed. In regards to speed. So it's the ability of a driver to make a responsible decision regarding the speed he's moving on the road. And in quotes, there are so many factors that are to be considered when you're moving your vehicle, when you're speeding or when you're not speeding on the road, isn't it? There are some areas where you can move at a higher speed depending on the kilometer per hour of that road, isn't it? There are sometimes you might be forced to reduce your speed because of the condition of the road. Sometimes even you know the condition of your car. You cannot, this car doesn't have maybe very good tires or maybe it has a problem. You cannot overspeed with that car, isn't it? So there are so many factors, even weather, isn't it? So speed management is the ability, of the driver to make a responsible decision on the speed he's going to use on a particular road, because different roads have different conditions, isn't it? It might be a rough road, it might be a dusty road, it might be a smooth road, it might be a good road, it might be a bad road, isn't it? As such. So when we talk also about speed management, there are some factors that affect the speed of a driver. So there are some factors. The first factor being the driver's ability to make a responsible or irresponsible decision, which is finally comes to the driver himself. You might choose to speed or overspeed, but remember, it's always a driver's decision. But remember, the higher the speed, the more likely that the passengers you are carrying are at risk. Are we together? The passengers you are carrying are at risk. So in case of an accident, it will be even more risky and more dangerous for your passengers, especially when you are carrying passengers, animals or goods, as such. Also remember, speed management is controlled. It's controlled, one, driver's decision, the ability of the driver to act responsibly on the road. Also, there is another factor. There is the road condition. You see, road condition. You cannot speed on a rough road. You cannot speed on a rough road, isn't it? As such. And then there's the traffic and the surrounding environment. Did you remember? There's a topic we did about the conditions of when we're talking about space management. There are conditions. The open condition. Which other condition? Closed condition and and changing conditions. Changing conditions. The weather is so also the surrounding environment comes into factor, isn't it? We will move a bit faster, and then there's what we call explain how poor speed management affects driving. If you cannot manage, sometimes when you are driving, when I'm giving you when you're doing practical classes together, and maybe Timothy or Thomas or maybe Charles was moving very fast, I didn't watch him punguza mbi, slow down. It's because he's not managing his speed. He's moving in the speed, he cannot control the vehicle. So there are some factors that affect the speed, poor speed management, isn't it? So when you talk about poor speed management, you cannot move at a very high speed on a sharp bend, isn't it? The vehicle might start skidding, isn't it? Or you cannot you cannot move very, very slow, and you are on a highway which needs you to go at 100 kilometers per hour. You'll be even causing obstruction. Are you getting my point? So, poor speed management affects driving. And at the end of the day, when you are talking about all these factors, at the end of the day, remember, the accidents that are on our roads are usually caused by human error. Human error being a number one factor, isn't it? Reckless driving, isn't it? Reckless driving.